so good morning. My name is Jason Zeller. I'll be your instructor for Python. As far as you guys here on campus, we'll meet at this time every time on Tuesday and Thursday. I do record the class session, so if for some reason you need to miss class, let me know in an email, but the classes are always recorded and they're available out there on Blackboard. I try to submit those shortly after class as quick as I can. You'll also have last semester's videos on there. As a matter of fact, you're going to get even fall and spring of last year on there too. So if you guys are struggling with a certain topic or something like that, and you need more help, there's those extra videos. Plus you can always come find me as well. So you'll find those in the Blackboard section. Let's take a look here real quick at the syllabus. So for this course, you guys will have all these different, or the schedule out here, the course schedule. We pretty much follow along with this to the T throughout the semester. Now, obviously with COVID and some other stuff going on, if we need to make some changes or adjustments, I will float and make some changes and adjustments. As far as the course as a whole, there is homework, which you guys will have a total of 4 homework assignments throughout the entire course. You will have 3 quizzes. You'll have a midterm project, a final project, and a midterm exam. That's it. So I'd say that's it because most of your work is going to be focused on the midterm project and the final project. So that's kind of the layout and the structure of everything is. For the first couple of weeks, you have a homework assignment every week. There's going to be some times when you do not have a homework assignments that week. That's when you can either catch up on things that maybe if you're running behind or start working on your midterm project once we get closer to that. The way I've laid out the midterm projects and the final projects, they are based around midterms and breaks. So like midterm project, you can see in here, you're going to have 2 solid weeks to work on that midterm project. That's a lot of time. With the final project, because it falls with fall break, you end up having almost 3 weeks of time to work on that fall project or that final project. So to put that in perspective, I teach this class in a 16-week like this. I teach it in an 8-week during the summer. I teach it as a 4-week during intersession. You guys have the longest amount of time to work on these projects. Some students have accomplished this very easily within 1 to 2 days is all they have to work on a midterm project. It's a little tight, little tough, which means during the 16-week sessions, I expect a little bit more within your project. You have tons of time to work on it, that kind of thing. We'll cover all that once we get to the projects and get closer. The biggest thing in this course is try. If you guys try, you show up, do the work and stuff like this, it's very hard for students to fail this course. I'll be pretty honest on that, especially when it comes to the midterm projects and the final projects. The midterm project, we'll talk about it when we get closer. You guys have a set of requirements. Everything I do from homework assignments, at least 2 of those, and the midterm final project, they are up to you. In other words, I don't tell you, you have to do this as your project. You can do whatever you want. So if you have an interest in a certain area, and I have a wide breadth of students in here, there's some computer science majors, there's some networking students, but I guarantee I have physics majors in here. I can have nursing students in here. I can have, you name it, they're in there in this program. It's basically a gen ed at this point, the way I like to look at it. As you guys know, it was hard to get in this section because sections fill up fast. So because of that, I keep it very simple because I do have a wide range of students in here. So I don't expect you to be a computer science mentality coming into this. If you're an entirely different major altogether, you should be able to work along in the course. Like I said, we're flexible in here. When we get to the final project, it'll be an extension of your midterm project. So you'll fix all the things that you had wrong on your midterm project. You'll extend it with some extra things. And then we schedule one-on-one meetings to go over your final project. That's the way I like to do the final project. During that final project, I'll ask you questions about your project and such. That serves as your final exam. So there is no final exam in this course. It's purely just meeting with me. I've not had one student that has not walked away from the final project meeting that was dissatisfied with the class. In the beginning, people were apprehensive that I was looking at code and I was going to tear you apart. That is not what that final meeting is about. Final meeting is about fixing your code, getting your project to work so that when you submit it, you should, in theory, walk away with an A. Anybody have any questions over the course schedule and how that works? Okay. As far as the course and the breakdown, assignments are going to be worth 15%. Quizzes are worth 20. Midterm projects worth 20%. Midterm exams worth 25. And then your final projects worth 20. So you can see that the midterm project, final project is worth 40% of your grade. It's the biggest chunk of the whole course. I do a standard 90, 80, 70 scale all the way through. In terms of course policies, university policies, the biggest one for you guys here on campus is going to be the mask policy. I don't have a mask policy in this class. If you choose to wear a mask, you can absolutely wear a mask. I won't enforce you that you have to wear a mask at any point at this time. Now, if the state requires that we do something different, that's the time that I'll enact that. But at this point, it's entirely up to your personal preference. It does not matter to me. And I understand one way or the other. It does not bother me. Anybody have any issues or questions around that? Okay, as far as the campus is concerned, the university right now, it's up to the instructor of the classroom. So as of right now, I don't see a need for it until they mandate that we got to start doing something. You guys are all adults now. You can decide what you want to do one way or the other. I understand it. Anybody have any questions over that? I have to address that for the on-campus side. Okay. As far as a book for this course, there is no paper copy book that you have to go purchase. We will do everything from automatetheboringstuff.com, and I will have direct links to the chapters that we will actually cover. If you want to go purchase this book, you can do that. You can purchase directly from the vendor here if you choose to do so. Some students like to have that paper copy. They like to read through a book. If you want to do that, great, but I'm not requiring it. Anybody have any questions over content in that regard? Okay, as far as the makeup for this course, we'll reference that book and I'll go through that. But a lot of what we're going to do is in class here. So I'm going to go through live coding almost every single day and talk about what's going through there. So the videos are basically your main resource for this class. And you will get those in class here. And then you also have the extra ones from the prior years before. And students have requested the prior years before. They really like having those prior years before. It's no skin off my back. All these are going to be recorded through WebEx. You can also join the live session. So if you are home for quarantine or something like that happens, you can still tune into class and jump in or watch the recording. All right. As far as emailing me this semester, the biggest one is students try to email me Python files. Once we get rolling, don't email me Python files. Outlook blocks them. I don't have a choice. I can't see them. Don't email me the Python files. What you can do is zip that file, then email that to me. So if you have questions on a homework assignment or you're struggling on something, zip it, then email it to me. I'll be happy to work with you. I check my email a lot. So unlike most instructors, and I understand their schedules and everything else, I try to answer. As long as I have my phone or my computer near me, I'm still an instructor. It's just the way I operate. So if you guys find something at 11 o'clock on a Friday night, if I'm still up and near my PC, I'm going to answer it. I can't guarantee I'm always like that, but if I'm available, I'm going to be answering it. Includes Saturday, Sunday, all that kind of stuff. As far as homework assignments, we'll talk about that. Everything is due on Sunday at midnight. If you're going to miss that for some reason, email me. Don't wait till 11 o'clock on Sunday night to say it didn't work out or the Chiefs game ran long, which might be a good excuse. I'll count that one. Not if you're going to go for another team. I'm sorry. No, just kidding. Just give me an email ahead of time. I'm flexible as long as you guys email me. It's as simple as that. I know some of you guys have sports, some of you guys have travel and everything else. I get it. I'm okay with that. I'm a flexible instructor as long as you email and communicate with me. If you're struggling with the topic and all those, I will be happy to schedule one-on-one meetings. That does not bother me whatsoever. So as long as I have open time in my office down there, I'm pretty much there from 8:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. About the only time I'm really not available during the day is either I'm teaching class or from about 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay. There's the live Zoom meeting link. You can get that there in Blackboard. Let's see here. The recordings, again, they're going to go up shortly after class. Everything I post will be here in Blackboard. It goes to YouTube. The reason I go to YouTube and not the other resources out there is that way, if you guys want to watch the class lectures while you're at the gym on a treadmill or out and about and you want to watch it whenever it's convenient for you, you can easily pull it up on YouTube. It also is handy because you can fast forward those to 1.2x, 1.5x, so you can get through the lecture a little bit faster so that you're not sitting there for the entire hour during that time. And it has subtitles. So for those of you that maybe speak in another language, it's beneficial because you guys can set it to a different subtitle and understand. And again, students have requested that in the past and it's worked out really well. I haven't had issues with it. All right, assignments, when we get into those, which there'll be one this week, there's a format that I want you to have at the top of every Python file, and we'll demonstrate this on Thursday. But at the top of this, you just copy and paste this into every single homework assignment, every midterm project, final project, everything else. You just copy and paste it at the beginning, fill in your name. Don't put my name. I'm Jason Zeller. You're not Jason Zeller. Put your name in there. Sounds silly. Been teaching this for so many years that students do this constantly. Just put your name in there. It's important that you put the homework assignment. And most importantly, when you're submitting assignments, when you submit assignments to Blackboard, use Python files. Just submit the .py file when we go in and I show you all that. You'll just submit it raw right up to Blackboard. You do not have to zip it. And I prefer you don't until we get till the end of the semester when you have to, because you got more than one file. The naming of the file where I have your student name, assignment 1, etc. That's extremely important. I know it sounds minuscule and it sounds, it's just a name of a file. You should be able to know it because I submitted it under my name in Blackboard. Doesn't work that way. I have about 75 students that I teach this to every semester. If everybody calls it assignment 1.py, I have no clue who you are, especially if you start forgetting the comments at the top. So please name those files appropriately. The first week I'm flexible. After that, I start taking off points. It's like putting your name on the paper since kindergarten. It's not that difficult. Same way, make sure you put those comments at the top. It's actually worth points as part of your assignment. So please, I know it sounds silly. Every year students get mad because they don't put their name on a paper. You're in college. You're all adults now, whether you like it or not. All right. Any questions over the course layout and how we go through it? Okay. First week here, we're going to be on Introduction and Python Basics. At the beginning of every section, when you come in here, you're going to have access to the chapter. So for example, chapter 0 here is the introduction. This introduction is basically going to walk you through and get Python set up, what Python was originally created for, why it's there, etc. So you'll kind of read through this information. We'll get an outlay of all the different chapters. It's going to walk you through installing Python. Please follow the video that we're going to record for installing Python. In other words, the setup and the things that they do in here, it's a good reference, but I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. They are going to explain that they want you to use mu. I do not want you to use mu. I want you to use idle, and it's built into Python, and I'll show you how to install it. So for this class, more than likely during class, you're going to want to have a laptop or something of some sort here so that you can work through the assignments while we're going through it. And that way you can practice and go through there. If you want to just follow along during here and do it on your own time, that's perfectly fine by me too. It's however you want to do it. So these sections will tell you what to go grab. For this class, we're going to use Python 396. So to install Python, you go out here to python.org, click on this link for downloads. You'll click on this download. Yeah. Yeah. Chromebook's going to be a little difficult for that. Do you have access to a normal PC? If not, we'll work on that. I'll see if I can't get you a way to get access to something that you could at least do it on. So you'll download Python 396 here. You'll save this wherever you want to save it. This works for Linux, Mac, Windows. All of them are going to be the same. When you go to install here, the biggest thing you want to pay attention to, now I already have it installed. So as a matter of fact, let me just remove it. Actually, I got an older version now. I'll walk through this here probably on Thursday. The main thing when you guys walk through that is setting the path. Make sure that you click the checkbox for the path. Again, we'll walk through this on Thursday. Getting everything installed. Do not use Python 2.7 in here. It's not going to work because everything we do is in 3. And there's a big syntax difference between 2.7 and 3. Anybody have any questions over that? Okay, how many of you guys have actually worked with any kind of programming language at all? Okay, for those of you that haven't, what major are you in? Informatics, what are you concentrating on? Digital media. Okay. Okay. Anybody outside of that realm of informatics? Okay. So most of you guys, like I said, you're going to end up using this, whether you think you will or not. At some basic level, Python is like the go-to language anymore. What used to be Perl back in the day, what used to be some of the other stuff, Python is the #1 language out there, period. And it's because it's human readable and fairly easy to use. This will not be as hard as something like C++ or Perl or some of the other ones. The way you read it, it pretty much executes the code in that fashion. And it's very universal. So from a computer networking side and that kind of thing, I can use it to program routers, switches, all the other stuff. That's where it's used the most. So where you used to be just computer networking, you'd go configure things on this command line. Doesn't work that way anymore. Most places out in the industry will use Python to automate that. If you're in digital media journalism and those kind of things, it's not that it's far-fetched, but a lot of times people build websites, and I get a lot of web students in here. You can build some really fast, quick media websites with Python as well, or based on a Python framework of some sort. I've had a lot of physics majors come in here because they're using NumPy and SciPy to crunch data for analytics, or if they're doing calculations at the grad school level. So there's a ton of things you can use Python for. I use it, in and out of every day. I got started in Python because I was in a job. I was having to hand out username and passwords all the time on this job before I flew out and trained a bunch of people. Got tired of doing that. I decided that I was going to automate that. And so I wrote a little web app to hand out usernames and passwords. Once I got that all established and up and running, I literally sat on my computer and watched them do that in my boxer shorts and made my salary for about 5 months before they caught on that I wasn't doing anything. So that's the power behind it. I know it sounds far-fetched. I literally did that. That's how I learned Python. And it works. And you can make a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. So strongly encourage you to learn it, see if you can adapt it and use it in some fashion. And that's what the midterm projects and the final projects are all about. Finding some way that it works in your life, no matter what you're doing. So if you want to do text adventures on the project, if you are doing something at your house that you want to automate, something like that, make it applicable to you. That's why I leave these assignments open-ended. All right. Anybody have any questions so far? Quiet today, first week of school. Fair. All right. That's all I'm going to do for today. I'm going to stop this one, just leave it at a course introduction.